Nice day in Devon today because it's cloudy and we might get some rain. So a couple of days ago the county archaeologist came down for the afternoon and it was a really nice visit. He spent a couple hours here. He asked lots of questions, took lots of photos, and we had a really good day. There was 3 of us here, and he said when he left he was had more mysteries than he did answers, and we felt exactly the same. The 3 of us all felt exactly the same. So first of all, I'm going to show you, which we kind of agreed on, is the only archaeological features, archaeology, we found so far. So Roger's going to put it on pause. Okay, so this is what we think is a standing hole socket or a hole that humans dug. You can see the topsoil, see the rock, see the stone, and right at the bottom of it was a small white pebble. So, you know, we could argue that the rain made it, it swirled around, the tide, the sea was up over this level. You can argue what you want, but we're not saying a seagull dropped that small white pebble or a worm carried it down. What we should find on the bottom of that hole, like we did in Sprudleston, when we did a dig on a prehistoric settlement down there, under each post hole was a small white quartz pebble. So that, we're saying, is archaeology, and I don't think he could argue with that. Pause the camera, Roger.
Yep.
So here's a ditch on the side of the mound. We showed a geologist. He said move 10 metres and find it again following the contour of the mound. We found it again. He asked us to do it again. We found it again. He asked us to do it again. We found it again. He was happy to say that humans had dug, this ditch had been dug by humans. So that's another bit of archaeology. We don't know why they've dug it by humans yet, but he was happy to say they dug it by humans. So after months and months of digging, that's the only 2 pieces so far that the 3 of us could kind of agree on. I'm going to show you something else now.
Yeah.
Okay, so when he left he said it was just as much now a geological mystery as it was archaeological, and we accept that. Geologically it's just a real mystery that all the cuts or not cuts, the lays, just the way it forms. That bit of a mound we cleaned the other day, it was cleaned up beautiful. And also when we clean up here, I'm not sure if you can see this, but there's the top of the slope, not very high up. The slope goes that way, the slope goes that way. It goes like a slope does, always. When we clean up here, everybody that sees it says it looks like the back of a waterfall. It is so smooth. It has been weathered by water for a long time. A huge amount of water has weathered that. And we all agreed on that. What we couldn't figure out is where did that volume or that amount of water come from, because it's jagged over there, it's jagged there. That's not a very big, you know, there's a little bit of a slope there for it to drizzle down, but it would drizzle down everywhere through the mud and it would come off the sides and come off over there. It's no different to here, but for some reason when you get to here, it's just, he just stared at it, the county archaeologist, as do we, as does everyone that sees it, said that looks like the back of a waterfall because it's so smooth, it's just so different. So the puzzle was, okay, where did the water come from to do that? Where did the water go? Okay, so when we dig down there, it's just clay. It's just beautiful. We had a bit of rain yesterday because you can't see it, but it's beautiful clay. But when we look at the geophys, which is there, on the geophys, we're on this corner here. We've got anomalies here is cut in, anomalies here where we think the middle is, anomaly there, and then around there we've got a blue anomaly. It doesn't mean it's water because it's blue, but it says positive. It's the blue is a positive, negative. So I'm not sure what that means, but the blue is a positive, negative. Okay, and that is right in front, goes around the corner, right where we are now. So one of us mentioned, I forget which one it was, we all sat there in silence and we all looked at each other and kind of smiling, thinking who's going to say it first. And one of us says, is there a sinkhole there? Did that water come down there and create a sinkhole? If Roger turns around, did it create some type of void or some type of sinkhole here, and then it goes up again over there? And when my friend was dowsing, this is where this isn't a standing stone, this is where we put, we didn't have any pegs, so he put a stone in the ground. This is where he dowsed to say, the dowsing sticks changed to say something was different under that stick. And the funny thing is, if you like coincidences, they've cut it in blue on the geophys. So we're going to do some digging today. County Archaeologist has gone away. He's going to send all the photos to 2 geologists, one who specialises in natural features that have been adapted for humans, and we'll see how we get on. So we'll talk to you later. Enjoy the music. Bye. Okay, so we finished digging for the day. Had rain and showers, not so nice. This is the mud where we had a mud wall. We wondered how far it went into the mound, which is just there. And we've cleaned up. Roger's going to show you now. We cleaned up, and hit a stone face. It looks like it's just been quarried. It looks like, instead of being a ditch that goes around the outside, well, it is a ditch that goes around the outside, but it's been quarried, and then it steps up, and there you can see the side of the mound. So that is kind of like the bedrock, or where the start of the mound starts. So that was hard work, and I'll show you if Roger puts it on pause. So if you look over there, there's the mound, and there's the smooth area, which has been completely smoothed by water. This is the area on the geophys which was coloured blue, which had an anomaly. And this is when my friend put his dowsing stone, saying there was something going on with his dowsing rods. So me and Roger thought we'd dig a test pit here, because like I say, somebody mentioned yesterday the word sinkhole. So we did a test pit. When we got down fairly deep, we started finding tiles and like lime mortar from not modern day, but quite old, say 150, 100, 200 year old building material, what they would have used for building material on the slates and the building. What's it called, Roger? Lime mortar. So it looks like somebody's dumped slates and lime mortar and old building material down there. So now we're going to go and try and trace back. We think we know the grandson of the landowner, who was the previous landowner, and we're going to find out, did they demolish a building and dump a building here, or build a material here? And we're going to ask him, was there any reason why they chose this spot to dump it? And it could be a coincidence. When we've chose this spot, to look for a sinkhole, and Freddie's dowsing rods chose that spot, and the water was coming off, by a huge amount of water was coming off that limestone mound over there. So we're going to try and put all 3 together, find out the history. Why did they throw building material here in a hole? Was it to fill in a sinkhole? As soon as I find out, I'll let you know. Thanks for watching. Cheers.